de la empresa Telmar, que nos va a comentar varias novedades de la compañía, así como nos va a presentar un foro que se llama el Quest Forum, nos va a indicar la importancia y por qué ustedes, los operadores en América Latina, lo deberían conocer. Steven, welcome to Telesemana once again, one more year. And first, tell us your announcements. What is Telmar communicating to the market here, to the operators that are participating at this show? What is your message? And let us know, so for those that are not here, and I can hear from you guys what you are presenting here.
Great, thank you, Rafa, and great to be here with you doing this interview, and it's great to be back in Brazil for another FutureCom. Of course, this is our third year in a row to be having an opportunity to meet like this. So in terms of our messages to the marketplace that we're highlighting here at FutureCom, first of all, we're highlighting that our geographic
Reach.
Thank you. Our geographic reach is continuing to expand across Latin America. So as of today, we have 2 facilities in Mexico, a facility in Colombia, a facility in Buenos Aires, and a facility here in Brazil, not far from São Paulo, near Campinas.
Putting that into perspective, last year, did you have the same facilities, or within the last 12 months you have launched or developed new ones?
So our newest facility within the last 12 months is in Colombia, and we've expanded some of our other facilities, including our facility here in Brazil.
So how it compares to last year's interview?
That's how it compares to last year. So in addition to expanding geographically and expanding our footprint, we've also expanded the types of services that we're able to deliver to customers across Latin America. And I'll make a particular note of what we're doing to support customers here in Brazil, because certainly there are some exciting things happening here in Brazil as it relates to the World Cup coming and the Olympics coming. And certainly there's just natural growth in networks, and there's a natural expansion of services that are being delivered to customers. And on top of that, there's even more growth in the network to support these large world events that are coming to Brazil.
Right.
So we've expanded our capabilities to do our part to help. So we've expanded our professional services capabilities to help with the build out of network infrastructure, and we continue to focus on our core, which is providing maintenance services to networks after they're built.
Now, I think perhaps 2 years ago, you mentioned the time it took you to respond to operators' needs in terms of, okay, I have this base station that is not working and it needs to be repaired. The expansion of this facility has changed the impact by which you can serve your customers in Latin America? Like the timing?
Yes, it has. Indeed, our turnaround time continues to improve, and we are able to benchmark that against others in the industry, and we really feel good about how we perform comparatively, regularly performing at industry-leading levels.
Okay, because for what you're saying, you're expanding the services, and I think in the past you had to take some of the equipment to Europe or the US or other facilities, and now you're saying that perhaps some of those equipment that used to travel a lot of miles are going to remain within the region?
That's right, yeah. Our expanded capabilities indeed, in some cases, are taking capabilities we have in other parts of the world and bringing them here to Brazil. And by the way, very, very good question, and timely, because one capability that we've built just over the course of the last couple of months is indeed Brazil's first clean room that's purely dedicated to repair services. So we've added that to our facility in Campinas, and it is now providing repair services for LEDs, for television sets that are up to 45 inches in diameter. So that's one of the new capabilities that we've built out here.
Okay. Now, another thing you wanted to bring to our attention, and the attention of our audience, is the fact that there is a forum called the Quest Forum, and there is a theme in this FutureCom, which is quality of experience for the user. And I think this Quest Forum has something to do with that. The reason I'm asking you about it is because you mentioned it to me before we started the interview, and I didn't know about this forum, and I think it would be a good idea for you to introduce that forum to our audience.
Yeah,
and to me, actually.
I'd love to introduce the forum to the audience. And as a matter of fact, I'll be speaking about the forum tomorrow at one of the sessions. So the Quest Forum is a global organization And frankly, it's a very unique organization for our industry. There are frankly very few industries that have organizations where competitors and partners come together with a single mission around improving quality.
And that's leading by the operator or by the vendors, or both?
It's actually both.
Okay.
So network service providers are critical members in many of the large network service providers around the world, and the large OEMs around the world are all participants in the Quest Forum. It is a non-profit organization, again, dedicated to just simply improving the customer experience for those who are using communication services that are delivered over these very complex networks. And I think one thing I think is important to point out is how well our networks across the world are supporting customers. And almost remarkable to imagine that they're performing as well as they are given the demands that we place upon them. Okay. Right? Enormous growth on these networks and regularly new services being delivered across these networks, yet they continue to operate at a very high degree of quality. And I'd like to believe that in some part of that success story is about what the Quest Forum has done for the industry. So indeed, it's a collaboration of companies across the industry, and I'll describe it in three ways. Number one, the forum gets together and collaboratively defines metrics by which to measure the quality of performance, whether that be delivery of a service to the end user or whether it be some internal metrics around network performance or supplier performance.
That probably should be a lot of interest to the regulators in Latin America. I don't know if they can be involved.
Well, thank you. It is. Okay. It is something that's regularly of interest to regulators because it creates a common language around how to talk about quality, and by having that common language, number one, you actually have a lower cost way of managing quality. So instead of having different quality definitions, right, for different network service providers, for different OEMs, you have one across the entire industry. The other thing that allows you to do that I think is quite powerful, is that it allows you to benchmark your performance from supplier to supplier or from network service provider to network service provider. And so indeed, this data is collected purely anonymously, by the way, and then that data becomes available to the industry, and a company can look at the data the data that's relevant to their business, and they can assess themselves. How do they perform relative to best in class, worst in class, and industry averages? Again, they don't see anybody else's data, but they know what their data is, so they can do those comparisons. So I think that benchmarking is very important. It allows you to benchmark from region of the world to region of the world, and from carrier to carrier and supplier to supplier. The other thing the organization does is we hold meetings on about a quarterly basis in different parts of the world. Our last conference was in Stockholm. Previous conference before that was in Shenzhen. So we hold them around the world, and those conferences we call best practice conferences. And indeed, somebody who has put forward a process that has dramatically improved quality in a particular area would come to the conference and present to the industry those breakthrough ideas as a way, again, to lift the performance of the entire industry.
Any plans of bringing that congress to Latin America at some point?
It's not currently scheduled, but we'd love to, is the short of it. As a matter of fact, we're talking to network service providers and members of government about really launching Quest Forum within South America. It's an organization that has been embraced broadly across the world, but we, Quest Forum, and I represent Quest Forum as the current vice chairman of the Quest Forum, haven't done enough to really get the message out across South America. So we're determined to do that. It's one of the reasons why I'm here.
Okay.
And we need to follow that up with a meeting.
What's the role of TLNT on this forum? Because obviously you are repairing equipment, right, and I'm not necessarily, I'm going to put a link between repairing a quality of experience necessarily. So what is your role within the organization? Or what are you trying to bring to the table as company that is repairing those equipments that are faulty.
Right. Well, much like others in the industry are bringing to the Quest Forum, we're sharing our practices to help the whole industry get better at what we do, whether that be maintenance services or whether that be professional services, as another example. So that's at least a little bit about Quest Forum, and just working this week to try to get the word out about Quest Forum.
So your presentation tomorrow is going to be about mostly the Quest Forum, actually.
It will actually be specifically only about the Quest Forum. Yes,
right.
yes. So again, volunteer organization. Actually, there are about 10 people who are paid, but most of the membership is volunteer, and it's a nonprofit organization. There is, I think, an important motivator for companies to be involved in Quest Forum, and that is, I think we all know that if we maintain good network quality, the industry will have the right foundation to continue to grow from. So if we want that pie to continue to get better, all of us want to make sure that we're driving good quality experiences for end users.
All right. If you don't mind, send me a copy of your presentation if you can share it.
We'd be happy to.
I'll take a look and see if we can do something with it to spread the word within the Latin American region.
That would be great.
Thank you so
It's
much.
wonderful to see you again.
Likewise.
Thank you.
You.